everybody. Welcome back to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm your host, Ross Pitt Shark Hunter, and here's my other host, Wizzy Puff.
Puff.
That's all he says. That's his quirk. That's the quirky thing about him.
Makes the podcast all the worse to listen to.
If you don't know, this is the series where I take my best friend in the whole wide world, my bestie best friend who doesn't get off my ass, Wizzy Puff, and I take him through the magical journey of My Little Pony fanfiction, but perhaps someday soon, other fanfictions.
Oh boy, that sounds like you got some lined up already.
Nope, none at all.
Don't worry, I have plenty of Avatar The Last Airbender fanfiction that we can get through.
But I know everything about Avatar The Last Airbender.
Oh no, you're right. Vinland Saga fanfiction. We both know nothing.
Perfect. All right, so today is the last day of our unscheduled Rainbow Dash Appreciation Month, but then it was scheduled by like halfway through that. I'm freaking loving this month, frankly, and, well, it's unfortunate to see it come to a close, but I'm glad it's coming to a close with a banger, apparently, because today we're going to be reading Vanilla Twilight by Quillery, which has been on my read later list since the day it came out.
Oh, wow. Have you read it yet?
No, I have not.
Really?
I read, look, you know me. It's tough for me to read things.
Yeah, I just thought that this was going to be one of the ones that you had already read. Because I remember you talking about this before that.
Well, yeah, I definitely talked about it, but more like, oh yeah, I remember this one being huge in the fandom back in the day.
It was so huge that Owl City named a song after it.
Yeah, well, I was just going to actually mention that. What really captured me about this was the name of it. It's called Vanilla Twilight. And if you don't know, Owl City, back when he was a young 2009 up-and-coming pretty boy star, he sang a song called Vanilla Twilight. And that is possibly one of my favorite songs of his, if not my favorite song of his. It was on the Ocean Eyes album.
Along with the song that I'm sure everyone knows, Fireflies.
Stop making up things, Wizzy. So,
okay.
Alice City, if you guys don't know, it's probably my favorite artist, and that is why this caught my eye. However, I don't know if they intentionally named it that because of the song. At least I didn't know until 2 seconds ago when I just realized something.
What?
Hey, Wizzy, what do you think the sequel is called?
Oh, Strawberry Avalanche.
No, unfortunately not.
Aww.
You're gonna have to make 5 different guesses, and we'll see if you get it right.
Fireflies.
Nope.
Owl City.
Nope.
The Bird and the Worm.
Nope. That would be a good one, though.
When I Became the Sea.
No.
Aw, what was it?
Oh yeah, I guess that was 5. I counted that as 4 for some reason. The sequel is called Dreams and Disasters.
Oh, it could have been any of those titles.
It could have been. And Dreams and Disasters is Owl City's song on Midsummer Station. But we're not going to be reading that today. Perhaps never, actually, because it's a long one. 99,000 words.
Oh my god, why is the sequel so long?
I don't know. Bronies have a weird tendency to do that.
It's like get the idea onto the page and then you're like, oh, but what if I made all of this world building?
Yep, I've done that so much before. All right, everybody. That's been enough setting the room tone. Let's get into Vanilla Twilight by Quillery. Chapter 1, Vanilla Twilight by Quillery. It just said the title in his name again. It was the evening after the summer sun celebration, and a hush had settled over the valleys of Equestria. After Pinky's all-night summer sun party, and being forced to work overtime on what should have been a holiday the day after, Rainbow Dash wanted nothing more than to go home and sleep. Instead, she lay on a cloud, looking up at the stars, her mind troubled. A flick of her prismatic tail sent the cumulus drifting slowly through the night air. She floated along, high above the village below. Every pony was most likely tucked away in their beds, happily dreaming. Every pony, except her. Rainbow Dash watched as the stars danced across the vast night sky, shining their light onto the lands below. She could swear the stars were but a hoof away, waiting in anticipation to grace the world with their gentle, luminous kiss. She was glad she did not live in a big city like Canterlot. The few times she had been there, the nights had been dull and lifeless. Only a few lonely stars were bright enough to pierce the veil of light cast by the city below. City below? Crap, I can't remember what the song is. But there's an Owl City song that says City Below.
Is that Hello Seattle?
No, I don't think so. Nights in Ponyville were both more quiet and more peaceful than in the capital, and Rainbow Dash was never more thankful for that than tonight.
If you're so great, why are you still single?
If you have a voice like that, I think I know why.
Whoa. Yeah, sorry, Rainbow Dash.
Like, you know I love you, Dashy, but I can only take so much of that. 6,000 words to be exact.
Good
I actually don't know how many words this is. 5,000 maybe?
I don't know. 5,500.
5,500? No, it's 6,000.
Is it?
6,556. Technically 6,728, but that's just advertising the sequel.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought there was going to be like the first chapter was 5,000, because I swear I read 5,000.
Nope, you must have read wrong.
C'est la vie.
She scoffed as those words intruded on her thoughts again. Her day had been going perfectly fine until a coworker had confronted her about her ego. Since then, that question continued to plague her, even after the rest of the conversation had been reduced to a forgotten echo. Why didn't she have a special sumpony of her own? She sat up swiftly, swatting the side of her cloud.
Because I'm Rainbow Dash, that's why. I don't need some sappy thing like love. That's for ponies like Rarity, not me.
And ironically, Rarity never finds success with that.
No, Rarity stays single?
As far as we know, she might have gotten with someone else, but I ain't never seen her actually get a cult friend or a mare friend.
This is what happens when your standards are too high, people.
And meanwhile, Rainbow Dash, happily married to Applejack, 2 children. Lovely life.
2 children?
Nah, I'm kidding.
Aw, I was hoping that was more confirmation for them. They had a sequel with like Rainbow Dash and Applejack's descendants. That would be so cool.
I wonder if they live at the farm, because we know that Big Mac lives at the farm still with his wife and children.
Oh.
So I wonder, just big old family?
That would be nice. Maybe they just have a separate house on the farm.
Oh, that would be so nice. I wonder if Rainbow Dash does farm work.
She'd be good at it, you know.
Oh, she would be great at it, but she would hate it and she shouldn't do it. She took a slow, steady breath and released it before relaxing back into the softness of the cloud. She lifted a hoof, tracing a shape in the sky above. She sighed.
Then why did what she said hurt so much?
It was silly, of course. How could she, the most awesome Pegasus in all of Equestria, not have a special sumpony? Who could even fill such a position? Not one of her co-workers, obviously. While the other weather ponies were dedicated to their work in the sky, none of them shared her passion for flight. To her, the sky wasn't a job or a career. It was her life. She needed a pony who loved the sky in the same way she did. So really, who in Ponyville could fill such a void in her life? If not those she worked with, then who else? These questions had danced in her head throughout the day, leaving her dazed and restless. They gnawed at her, and would continue to do so until she laid them to rest. She hated feeling like this. She needed some pony, any pony to talk to help her understand her own thoughts, or at least distract her from them until she could sleep. The moon loomed high above, indicating it was sometime past midnight, but one of her friends might still be awake. She arched her back and unfurled her wings to their full length. A gentle wind flowed through her feathers. With a single flap, she brought herself from the cloud into the air, where she let the current carry her along. She had many thoughts on her mind, and as she rose into the open sky, she realized at least one thing. She wasn't going to answer them here. With that, she leaned forward and let the wind take her, soaring into the night over Ponyville. The clear sky above the plains gave way to the shimmering canvas of stars above, lighting up a familiar sight just beside the everfree forest. The hillside was brushed over with grass and thatch.
Thatch? What is thatch?
What is thatch?
Yeah, I kind of hate thatch.
It can harbor insects and lawn diseases, and grass may begin growing in the thatch layer instead of the soil, producing shallow root systems and exposing it to greater temperature extremes.
I hate thatch.
All my homies hate thatch.
Come on, like, our lawns? What is more important to us?
Literally nothing. If you hate thatch, give this a 5-star review on... What's that place? Apple
Audible?
Podcasts? Audible's a good one too. Did you know we're on Audible? Fun fact.
We're on Audible.
Countless sprigs of dainty trees were lined with dozens of flowering blossoms and bird feeders. As the home of one of her oldest friends, the little cottage had been one of her favorite places in all of Ponyville ever since she moved here. Even from high above, she could see that there were no signs of life within. The windows were dark, and she saw no creatures scurrying about as they did in the day. Waking Fluttershy was not something Dash wanted to do, even though she knew she could confide in the caretaker. To wake her now, though, would be taking advantage of her endless supply of kindness.
Aww.
Not something a loyal friend would do. Element of loyalty, that's my girl.
Element of kindness, that's Fluttershy.
Righto. I hope that she goes to all of her friends and says, no, that's not something that a generous pony like Rarity would do. No, Applejack's honesty shouldn't do that.
I don't want to hear the honest truth.
Just gets to Twilight. No. I fucking hate magic. Don't trust it.
That would be amazing. It's like, oh, it's building up to be a romantic story for Rainbow Dash and Twilight, and that's how it ends.
That would be wild. You think there are ponies in Equestria who just don't believe in magic? Like, nah,
There
it's some
has to
weird
be.
shit. There's a scientific reason for all of this, actually.
I think there's a character on Adventure Time who's like that.
Oh, that's really funny. Adventure Time, it's one of those shows, and you know this about me, Wizzy. I know this about me, Wizzy, but our audience might not. Adventure Time, one of those shows that I know is really good, but every time I watch it, it's just not my thing. Which is weird because
nostalgia.
I know a lot of people who watch that and My Little Pony, so it's...
Yeah, goes along with shows like that and She-Ra.
I don't know why specifically Adventure Time is the one that I'm like, nah, it sucks.
Well, I feel like it has a bit less story building than the others. So it makes sense how it doesn't feel the same, but I feel like it's a fun ride of a show, you know?
Yeah. But I have cried over Adventure Time.
Oh?
I saw a clip that made me cry, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. And I was like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, it has some sad moments.
Yeah, go watch Adventure Time, guys. I have a bad opinion.
That's the first time I've heard someone say that about a show. Like, I haven't watched it, but you guys should, because I don't have a responsible take on this show.
I fucking hate this goddamn show. Y'all should go watch it. I hear it's great. She shrugged her wings and continued on, leaving her friend to sleep peacefully. An errant draft from the forest picked up, carrying her along in its wake. She drifted through the air, gliding along over the winding hills and countryside that surrounded much of her home. Wooden fences encompassed the lands below, caging off sections of fields and tiled earth. Below her, Sweet Apple Acres stretched on. Tilled. Hey, thank you, Wizzy. Thank you.
They
Wooden
tiled
fence.
over my farm. Sorry.
And Sweet Apple Acres just turns into, like, has a bathroom, sorta.
It's bought by Walmart.
Oh no. Wooden fences encompassed the lands below, caging off sections of the fields and tilled earth. Below her, Sweet Apple Acres stretched on for miles. Even from this high up, she couldn't see all of it. The farm was as big as the rest of Ponyville combined.
It really is an amazing view. I wonder what Applejack would say if she could see it like this.
Oh my god, get me down!
They call me an earth pony for a reason.
I hate it up here! Dash saw no indication that any pony was awake within the Apple home. Not that she was surprised. Farm ponies worked long hours, and Applejack was no exception, while she was easily the one she considered her best friend.
Ooh.
Even friendship had its limits. Yeah, best friends.
Such good roommates.
Yep. And unfortunately, in this universe, yeah, that's all they'll be.
Yeah. Well, maybe in this universe, Twilight and her don't work out.
You know what? Maybe. But also, I ship Twidash, so... No, I don't really ship Twidash. Not anymore, at least. That used to be my number one ship, though. Let me tell you a story, guys. When I first got into the show, I was like, you know who would make a cute couple? Rainbow Dash and Twilight. It's just that dynamic was such an interesting dynamic that I hadn't really seen in a homosexual relationship before. I hadn't seen a single homosexual relationship before because it was like 2013. How many of those you see in kids' shows?
Yeah, they always get banned in America.
Yep.
Well, at least they used to.
Nowadays, though, it's a bit different, but...
We can have a handshake between two men now.
Ooh. Yeah. I thought it was interesting, and also, they are easily the most vibrant-looking ponies on the cast. Their colors pop, so I think they work well together in that regard, too, and I thought that looked nice.
Well, I'm kind of having trouble
I will
between,
say,
thinking if if Twilight is more vibrant than Rarity. But maybe.
I would say so. Like, Rarity, she's got the whole white thing going on, which, you know, white is pretty bright, but...
She also sparkles.
True. But I will say this, though, Apple Dash, they do have complementary colors. So that's also nice. Or complementary colors? Or the ones that blue and orange, they're like opposites. So is that complementary colors? I don't know. You don't know anything about color theory. Anyways, best friend Applejack, lover. Applejack was dependable, but she knew what would happen if her dependability was stretched too far. She could see it now, swooping to the window to wake the sleeping farmer just to lay her own problems on her.
Now, Rainbow.
Wait, no, that's Applejack?
Yeah, that's pretend Applejack in Rainbow Dash's mind.
Oh, I'll do this.
Now, Rainbow.
She would say.
We've been friends for a long time, but you know I gotta get up early to get to work tomorrow. Not cool.
Dash thought.
Best to leave her be, or else she might rope me into helping.
Yeah, that's a good idea. How late are you? How late is it, Rainbow?
Has to be past midnight at this point.
But you could wait 2 hours and Applejack will be up. She's a goddamn farmer.
The time is twilight.
Oh my gosh, why are people sleeping during twilight hours? It's dumb. When is Twilight actually?
Hours? I thought Twilight was like right after the sun goes fully down. Let me look this up.
I literally just looked up Twilight. I'm an idiot.
Oh, you just searched Twilight?
Yeah. I was just like, this'll give me it.
Okay, yeah, it's the time before sunrise and after sunset.
So literally night. Cool. All right,
yep.
Cool. Why did Celestia choose her? Celestia chose her. She chose Sunset Shimmer.
True.
She just hates herself.
No, it's because she missed Luna so much.
Oh my gosh.
Fan theory.
That's such a good fan theory.
Someone's got to make a fan fiction now.
The wind tugged Rainbow along through the sleeping village. Ponyville Square was a quiet scene from above in the evening. The smells of baked goods brought a smile to her lips, as well as the pangs of hunger. Dash tilted her wings and drifted down to meet its source. Sugar Cube Corner was hard to miss, even in the dark. Its bright pink coloring lent a vibrant and festive quality to the quiet neighborhood. Rainbow Dash had other considerations to make upon approaching the bakery. Pinkie Pie was certainly inside, but she wasn't the only one. The cakes also slept within the candy-covered home, and disturbing them would be more trouble than it was worth, especially with those two foals.
Even if I managed to find Pinkie's room without waking every pony else, then what? She'd probably throw a party to cheer me up, no doubt.
Quite possibly.
Gonna throw you a party to get you a girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, Pinky would make the best,
Wing woman?
yes.
Even though she's an earth pony. Ha!
Ha ha! Ah, ha ha ha! Oh, 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 be still my heart? What does that even mean?
I thought it was like something that "Be Still My Beating Heart" was like a quote from some romance thing, I think.
That may be a Shakespeare thing?
Oh, yeah, it sounds like Shakespeare.
Anyways, I'm just saying that as, oh, shut up, you're making me laugh too much. She shook her head.
I don't think I'm up for that tonight. Besides, Pinky has to sleep sometime.
Your voice has gotten better, by the way. I think I would go out with this Rainbow Dash.
Ooh. Yeah, I just gotta really get into the character.
With a half-hearted flap of her wings, she let the wind take her away from Sugar Cube Corner and the village center. A shimmer of light drew her attention towards the edge of the city. Despite the darkness, a single building stood out from the rest, emitting a faint radiant sheen through the veil of night. The ridiculous purple frills made it stand out from the nearby homes, but that was to be expected from the fussy, fashion-crazed owner. The light ignited a spark of hope in Dash. Rarity was awake. She dove through the air only to stop as she approached the window that shed the single beam of light into the dark streets outside. Her friend was indeed awake, but she was not lazing about through the night, as Dash had hoped. Instead, she was sitting at her sewing machine, her magic glowing around the device as she fed spools of fabric through it. As Dash watched, her friend's head drooped forward, only for her to sit up sharply, squinting and blinking. Her bright blue eyes were half-lidded and underlined with dark circles, while her mane hung limply beside her, its usual curls flat and worn.
Always working, huh, Rarity?
Dash thought.
She probably would be the best pony to talk to about this, but she would never get to sleep if I bothered her now.
Aw. I like how nice this Rainbow Dash is.
Yeah.
Like, in this era of My Little Pony fanfiction, you'd almost never get a nice Rainbow Dash.
Was her character in the was this like something her character in the show wouldn't even do?
No, I think she would do this, but
okay.
I'm not sure if the show would have shown you that she would be this nice this early on, though. So, but like she wasn't an outright asshole like a lot of these make her out to be.
She just was clumsy sometimes and maybe a little inconsiderate, but
yeah,
she's loyal. She's a good friend.
Essentially, she's me.
Your pony Sona is Rainbow Dash?
OMG, that would be the no, that wouldn't be the best. That would be like the second best.
Oh, of course. Sunset?
Yeah. But she's also not a pony, so.
Well, yeah, but she was a pony. Still counts.
She retreated from the window.
Good night, Rarity. I hope you finish soon.
Such a sweetheart. Dash twisted back into the wind and let distance reduce the glistening boutique to nothing but a faint glint behind her. Her mind was weary. Usually, a simple dose of cool atmosphere would cure her worries, or at least lessen them enough for her to push them out of her mind.
Fat chance of that happening tonight.
She groused to herself. She flapped her wings warily, just enough to keep her afloat in the breeze. The sound of rustling leaves washed over her, and she quickly spotted the source. A single oak resting on a lonely street. A sign hung from a wooden post in front of the great tree, shifting and creaking in the wind, bringing a harsh counterpoint to the rippling leaves above. A lone lantern lit the path in front of the tree, and a second flicker of light danced within the branches above.
It looks like Twilight might still be awake,
she thought, and that would make sense, considering the time of night.
Oh! When does Twilight
Which
sleep?
I guess is just night.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, it's any time where there's no sun. So, you know.
Sunrise after sunset.
I consider that sunset, you know, like the time around that time would still be night, but the sun would be up a bit.
Speaking of, ironically enough, this is one of, like, I want to say 5 times we've ever recorded where the sun is nice and up right now.
Yes!
Which I love.
Ironic that the Twilight one is the one that's done during the day.
When violet eyes get brighter.
And Oh god, I can't remember the lyrics.
Heavy wings.
And heavy wings grow lighter.
Whoa, my god, I realize why they picked that name.
Why?
Because it's got references to wings.
It does. You're right. But does Twilight even have her wings yet?
No, but Rainbow Dash does.
Yeah, but this fic is
So I was
more
like,
about Twilight.
this is just a Twilight fan fiction. It's just called Vanilla Twilight. But then you realize that Rainbow Dash has wings, and the song mentions wings. Genius. Could have also called this bird with a broken wing. Anyways, I'm subtle, she thought. Dash broke away from her lethargic glide and dove into the branches. She navigated the tangle of wooden limbs with practiced ease, having crashed through them far too many times before. As she approached the shifting light, it slowly became clear exactly what it was. A single candle sat on the balcony, twisting in the wind, but never fading. It cast a warm, glowing light against its surroundings, including the lone mare beside it. Twilight Sparkle was lying down on a blanket in the middle of the modest porch, surrounded by several stacks of books. She was looking through a gilded telescope and humming quietly as she adjusted it. Dash recognized it as the same instrument they had used to watch the meteor shower all those months ago. She fluttered through the branches quietly, freeing herself. Wait a second. Oh. You asked if Twilight had wings earlier at this time? I was like, no, she didn't have wings, idiot. Then I realized this came out in March of 2013, which I think that would be right around when she got wings. Because that was the same week of Valentine's, or that was the same year, Valentine's 2013. It's when Magical Mystery Cure aired, and that's when she got wings.
Oh. So she probably does have... Okay, we just gotta see if she actually, they mention them in this fic.
Doesn't look like she has them in the cover art here, so...
Still could have been, maybe just an overlook.
Also, in the cover art for the second one, doesn't look like she has them. But I guess, yeah, we'll see. She fluttered through the branches quietly, freeing herself from their restrictive confines to land on the porch with a soft clatter of hooves. Twilight's head jerked suddenly from her telescope to face her with a look of surprise that quickly softened into a smile. Oh, Rainbow Dash. Her smile quickly faded to confusion. What are you doing here so late? She rubbed her hooves awkwardly.
Nothing. Just wait.
Nothing?
Why'd I read the nothing from?
My goodness, we're going insane.
It's so weird how, some sentences just your brain automatically fills in.
I read Best Friend earlier when talking about Rarity to Rainbow Dash. I think it was Rarity to Rainbow Dash. So weird.
Just flying around,
she replied, trying not to sound as lame as she felt.
No big deal.
Twilight raised an eyebrow. At 2 o'clock in the morning? She cleared her throat.
Well, I could ask you the same thing,
she said in a flimsy attempt to deflect the question. Well, Twilight began, indicating her telescope, I have a feeling Luna's got something special planned tonight. World domination.
What? Again?
I've been suspecting it for months.
I never trusted her 1 minute.
This probably did take more than a month to make, so I don't blame him if Twilight doesn't have wings right now.
Oh man, then how's she gonna fight Luna?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dash said quietly.
That sounds cool, I guess.
She glanced again at the glimmering lights. It was a spectacular sight, but it wasn't anything she hadn't seen before.
What do you think she's got planned?
World domination? That joke probably would have worked better here. But you can't change the past. You can only look forward to the future.
Well, some people can change the past. Like Twilight. Twilight could change the past.
Oh, no, she can't, actually.
Really? Is that canonical?
Yep. Canonically, she tried to change the past, and it did not work.
Well, it doesn't mean she can't. It just means she failed once. And you know what they say? When you fail once, try and try again.
When you give a fish a fan cake.
There's smoke, there's fire.
Wait a second. No, I just realized you actually can't. Well, I guess Twilight never changed the past, but Twilight was in a scenario where the past was changing, so forgot about that.
Oh, but it's not like a...
Starlight was all, oh, I'm gonna destroy the past so that you and your friends aren't alive anymore, and then
Jesus,
go through
Starlight?
all these different realities, and Sombra takes over, and then Nightmare Moon takes over, what a coincidence, and then Discord takes over, Tirek takes over, and then nothing. Everything is destroyed.
What?
It's just a universe where there's just dust.
So is that like an alternate universe?
Yes.
No.
And you're like, I wonder which villain did this. And is it all the villains? I don't know.
And it was Starlight Glimmer?
Is it just Starlight herself? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. She's fucked up.
I didn't know that Starlight Glimmer was that evil.
Yeah, she got pretty bad.
You know, I did the Solving for Death fic with her. She wasn't that evil. She tried her best to get Twilight alive again.
Yeah, she gets better.
Just like Sunset.
In season 6, though, which is the season after they redeem her, everybody was like, oh, Starlight bad, Starlight sucks. And then immediately when season 7 started, Starlight became everyone's favorite character because she just became awesome.
They're like, okay, we have to repair this character. Everyone hates her.
I was always fine with her, but she became like top 5 My Little Pony characters after season 7. She's great.
Oh, nice. We should do more fics with her then.
Yeah, I'm shocked that we haven't, honestly. How many have we done?
2, 3.
There have been some where she was mentioned, I guess. There was Duped. She was in Duped.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Solving for Death. We mentioned that earlier. She gets mentioned in a few that I don't care to talk about. Is it just those two? It might just be those two.
Yeah.
Starlight Glimmer Month, everybody. Let's go. Yeah, what do you think she's got planned? Before Twilight could answer, a burning light flew across the sky from behind the moon. It fell towards the earth before vanishing in the distance. Dash stepped towards the edge of the balcony, away from the obstructing branches.
Whoa.
Would you like to join me, Dash? You look like you'd enjoy stargazing.
What do you mean?
Stargazing.
What?
Looking at Twilight's ass.
Oh my god.
She has stars on her butt.
How do you enjoy this moon?
Ooh. Twilight
I know it's
peered
not
at
as good as Luna's. I'm sorry.
Twilight peered at her, a knowing smile creeping on her face. I know that look. You enjoy looking at stars, don't you, Dash? Dash turned her head away.
It wasn't that. I was thinking.
Twilight smiled wryly. I bet. So, did you want to join me? She motioned her closer, indicating the telescope. The Pegasus smiled warmly and walked over to it, walking over to the astronomical device.
I guess it could be fun. I've never used a telescope to look at stars before. Me and Pinky used one to scope out pranks, but not much else.
Probably don't want a telescope to do
I was gonna
that.
say. I mean, it
What
would make sense.
are those
if,
things that pirates use? Is that just a telescope?
Oh, that's a good question. Is that still just called a telescope?
I
But what you want is
can't
binoculars,
remember.
obviously.
Binoculars, yeah, that's the number one thing. But if you
it would
just
make
want to look at
sense.
it through one eye,
Yeah, you get better focus.
mm-hmm.
But wouldn't it be in character if Rainbow Dash just didn't know the proper name for the device she was using?
That would be very funny. And in character. But no, Pinky actually, I'm just remembering this now. Episode 5, Pinky and Rainbow Dash actually did look through a telescope to scope out pranks.
Nice.
Oh, really? You don't know what you're missing. Dash leaned down, placing her eye to the lens. The canvas of lights she had always known expanded in a field of colors, magnified beyond what her eyes could see normally. She moved the telescope around, attempting to track the falling stars.
They're so fast. I can't even follow them with this thing.
A soft giggle grabbed her attention. Twilight had a hoof to her mouth, trying to stifle her mirth. You look like you're enjoying the show. Dash nodded, smiling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
She shrugged her wings, waving a hoof dismissively.
I mean, it's not as amazing as I am, but it's pretty close.
Got that right, Rainbow Dash.
Aw, yeah.
The vast expanse of the ever-growing universe is nothing compared to you.
Has the vast growing expanse of the universe done a double rainboom?
I think not. Dash returned her attention to the telescope. The light shown had only intensified in the brief moment she looked away, and a pang of regret tugged at her for missing it. Almost immediately, another set of lights streaked by. She gasped in delight as she watched the cosmic wonders.
I should have done something like this sooner.
Just thinking about Rainbow Dash gasping in delight at that's kind of cute, honestly.
What, just because she's a pony or because she's Rainbow Dash?
Because she's Rainbow Dash. You don't expect that sort of thing from her, but her voice would be adorable if she gasped in joy.
Now, if she gasped in joy with a southern accent...
That would be weird. A mire of gray obscured her vision. The bulbous mass of darkness coalesced across the scope, and she tore her head away from the lens.
Hey, what gives?
What's wrong? Twilight asked, a hint of worry creeping into her voice.
I think your lens is dirty. I can't see anything anymore.
What? That isn't possible. I just cleaned it before I started. Twilight wandered over to take control of the telescope, mumbling under her breath. She tilted it up and down to point it at different sections of the sky. When Dash looked up as well to continue watching the stars normally, she noticed a familiar blob of gray.
Twi?
She continued.
I don't think it's the telescope.
What do you... Dash pointed. There, a massive darkened cloud approached. It cut a disgusting canopy through the once pristine midnight sky, blotting out the stars. Where did that come from? Twilight asked. I thought tonight was supposed to be clear.
It was. I cleared it myself. But that's not a Pegasus cloud.
Rainbow Dash is just bad at her job.
Just making excuses. She could actually just clear out the sky like that?
Yeah.
Dang.
Twilight glanced back with confusion in her eyes. What do you mean?
That's an Everfree cloud. There's no way a Pegasus cloud would move that fast without being actively pushed. And I don't see any Pegasi up there.
Twilight stomped loudly on the wooden balcony. But that's not fair, she pouted. I've been waiting for weeks for tonight. What Luna has planned won't happen for another year.
Oh, so is Luna, making the meteor shower?
I think so.
Yo.
She can't even just, ask Luna to do it again, because, what would be the point? But...
Yeah, Luna, at this point in the show, doesn't like Twilight.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. She and Twilight are tight.
Okay.
The unicorn swiftly trotted inside and returned with a stack of papers. We'll just have to go somewhere else to watch it. She unceremoniously flopped the stack to the ground and began reading each of the pages one by one before discarding them. Her eyes darted side to side as she read at an incredible rate. No, that's too far. The cloud is too wide for that one. Maybe this one? No, that won't work either. Dash walked over to Twilight to see what she was doing. She found one of the discarded pages, revealing a list of locations.
Twilight? I know the hills around here. We'd have to go almost to Canterlot to get a clear view, and that cloud looks like it's getting bigger.
Several more papers were tossed aside, prompting Dash to look up. Twilight had already worked through most of the pile. Her mane began to fray, and her eyes were wide and frantic as she leafed through the remaining pages. As the pile of rejections grew, Dash was steadily losing sight of a positive outcome. The last time she'd seen Twilight like this, she had mesmerized the entire town to chase after a stuffed doll, and if she were allowed to continue tonight, there was no telling what could happen.
Well, if Twilight can't find a way, then it's up to me.
Hell yeah, Rainbow.
Literally up to her, because she's going to take her above the cloud.
We don't know that for a fact.
Come on, it's where it's leading.
It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
The village was surrounded by rolling hills in every direction. Any one of them could serve as an adequate vantage point for stargazing, if not for that cloud. Judging by Twilight's copious maps, she must have planned several alternatives, but no pony could plan for an Everfree cloud. It was moving far too fast, and while it did not appear to be a storm cloud, in Dash's opinion, it would soon envelop the entire sky and ruin any chance of Twilight getting her wish. As she stared at the unnatural stratus, however, an idea began to form. If there was one thing she knew aside from flying, it was clouds. She knows clouds, by the way. This bully of moisture might have had a mind of its own, but it hung ominously low to the ground, far lower than she would have allowed her own clouds to fall, unless fog was on the schedule. So wait a minute. Does Rainbow Dash think that Everfree Forest clouds have minds of their own?
I thought they did.
They're just clouds, Wizzy.
Well, yeah, but when you're like, oh, that leaf has a mind of its own because you see it blowing around in the wind a lot. But as in, they're uncontrollable?
No, I think she just thinks that clouds have brains.
Oh, okay. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Dash glanced at Twilight, who seemed to be sinking further into a frenzy. She was nearly at the end of her notes, floating the stacks of books and parchments around her head. It wouldn't be long before she ran out and started thinking up something drastic.
Hey, Twi, how much of this can you afford to leave here?
Twilight snapped her eyes towards her. What do you mean?
If I said there was a perfect place to stargaze, where that cloud couldn't get in the way, but you had to travel light, what would you take?
What would I take? Let me think.
This was for Twilight.
I would say you're crazy.
That wasn't the question!
Twilight replied curtly. Dash shot her a stern glare, prompting her to try again. But if I were to take something, I guess I would only need a notebook or two. The Pegasus nodded, a grin flashing over her features.
Okay then, get those together. We're going for a little trip.
In our favorite rocket ship, soaring through the sky. It's a little Owl City reference for you.
Yeah, famous Owl City song.
Popular Owl City song.
Everyone knows it.
Twilight raised an eyebrow. A trip? Where?
Just get your things. You'll see soon enough.
Dash was glad her fervor in getting things moving again was enough to bring Twilight out of her spiral. With a quick flash of her magic, Twilight packed her saddlebags and draped them on her back. She looked at Dash expectantly. Speaking of expectantly, I expect you all to go into the description and read this story for yourselves, or perhaps give it a like. That would be nice of you.
It's the least you could do.
You could just do it. It wouldn't cost you a dime, guys.
And this person put 6,000 words into their story.
Yeah.
That's worth one like.
Come on, jerks. She looked at Dash expectantly. What about the telescope? Dash shook her head.
Don't worry about it. Where we're going, we won't need it.
Okay then. Where are we going exactly?
My bedroom.
Oh my.
Yeah, it escalated real quick.
The Pegasus walked over to the edge of the balcony. A gentle breeze wafted through her mane, the spectrum of colors dancing behind her. She extended her wings, flapping them a few times to wring out any soreness. With a single beat of her feathery limbs, she brought herself into a hover above the porch. She gazed out over the village below. The gloomy Everfree cloud was rapidly approaching, blocking out the starlight above the sleeping town. Dash smirked.
You aren't afraid of heights, are you, Twilight?
Gosh, I hope not. Otherwise, she's going to have a real tough future.
She's living in a tree all her life. Of course she's not afraid of heights.
No, but what does that have to... She fluttered her wings, zipping through the air over to the bookish unicorn. The branches of the great oak rustled at her speed. Twilight yelped, "Wah!" as a cyan mare seized her by the barrel and lifted. In the blink of an eye, Twilight Sparkle was airborne, her legs dangling underneath her. "Rainbow Dash!" she shouted. "What are you doing?"
Saving your night.
Saving your life?
If we fly. It's faster if we fly.
Are you sure you can carry me?
Concerned about our weight, are we?
Oh, she called you fat.
Ooh! She said that she thinks she's fat. She's calling her insecure.
Well, yeah, Twilight is. No, Twilight stammered, her cheeks glowing a faint red. But these books aren't exactly light. The Pegasus grinned at her friend's insecurities. She beat her wings in a steady rhythm, beginning her ascension. As she climbed higher, she felt her passenger squirming in her grip.
I'd recommend not moving like that, unless you want me to drop you,
she warned, tightening her hold on her friend. Sorry, I'm not used to flying like this.
Whoa, she's nervous.
I would be.
Don't worry, you're in good hooves.
Whoops.
Forgot I don't have fingers.
She felt compelled to tighten her grasp. When she did, Twilight's mane brushed the underside of her neck. Ooh.
Her mane is really soft,
she thought.
Must be one of Rarity's weird shampoos.
Don't you call Rarity's shampoos weird? She gripped tighter, letting its pleasant scent fill her senses. Dash? Twilight wheezed.
Oh, God.
Twilight has asthma, really bad asthma.
She's like, I forgot my inhaler.
If Rainbow Dash did just do this and Twilight had asthma and she forgot her inhaler, that would be real bad.
I bet she has a spell for something like that.
Oh man, equestrian magic just fixing everything.
Yeah,
just everything that I would love to have. Sorry?
It never had a need to make inventions like an inhaler when they can just zap everything better.
Fucking Equestria. You're holding a bit too tight. Oh, that's why she wheezed. Heat radiated through Dash's cheeks as she loosened her hold on Twilight.
Why did I do that?
'Cause you have a crush. She shook the thoughts from her mind, trying to regain focus on the task at hoof. The ever-free cloud loomed above, giving Dash reason to go faster and higher. As the wind rushed past her, she felt a strong pressure around her own hooves. Glancing down, she saw her passenger had drawn her limbs tightly together, shrinking herself as small as possible. Her front hooves had clasped onto her own, and Twilight was clinging to them for dear life. Dash chuckled. A sudden dampness on her back prompted her to look up. The rogue ever-free cloud was only inches above. It was fast, but hardly fast enough to best her. Take that, cloud, Rainbow Dash tells the cloud, still assuming that the cloud is alive.
Yeah, I would love if that was actually a character trait of Rainbow Dash. She's convinced that clouds are living and no one believes her.
I bet that a lot more bronies would like her. She leveled her trajectory and increased her speed. The land below her became shrouded by the cloud as it continued its attempts to blot out the night sky. She laughed heartily as she gained distance from the dark blob, leaving it behind in her colorful contrail. Do you need to fly so fast? Dash looked down again and noticed that Twilight was shaking. She slowed her pace slightly.
Sorry, Twi. I just had to get away from that cloud. I didn't really want to fly through it.
Are we almost there at least?
See for yourself.
A modest hill was the only noteworthy landmark for miles, on the ground at least. Hovering high above it was Dash's cloud house, dotted with carved nimbus columns and arches. Liquid rainbows poured from it, raining down towards the ground before vanishing into the air. Wait, why are we coming here? Twilight inquired.
You'll see.
Bedroom.
Ooh, the bedroom in the sky.
That just sounds like a great name for a fic. The bedroom in the sky.
It's a parody of Ghibli's Castle in the Sky.
Hold on. Actually, I'm not going to look that up. It's probably a clop fic, if anything. Free of the cloud ceiling above her, she rose higher again at the sight of her home. Her wings buzzed in the air as she came to a hover above the roof. To her, this was the best place for her to gather her thoughts, and she wouldn't change it for anything in the world. She shifted forward, bringing herself and Twilight over the flattened veranda. She loosened her grip on her friend, looking forward to unloading her cargo. The unicorn wasn't as heavy as she jokingly mentioned, but carrying any pony for such a long distance would be tiring to any Pegasus, athlete or not. Rainbow Dash, remember when you carried no less than 4 different ponies?
What? She carried 4 ponies?
Yeah, on her back. When she did the not the double rainbow, just the regular rainbow. Wait a minute, there is no double rainbow. Canonically.
Oh, none?
No.
Was that only the fic?
Yeah,
Or
that was only
a fan thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Some reason my mind just thought that was the name of the thing she did.
No, that's a sonic rainboom.
Oh, Sonic Rainboom.
Editor's note. Don't cut that out. Yeah, the sonic rainboom, the second sonic rainboom that she did. Rarity was about to die, and she had knocked out all the different Wonderbolts by being Rarity and flailing her arms dramatically. So Rainbow Dash went and exploded the sky in a sea of colors and grabbed all 4 of them before they, died. And she carried them back up to Cloudsdale.
Okay, but that was her, mom strength coming in, you know?
True.
She needed to carry them.
Gosh, Rainbow Dash's mom strength, that would be tough. Wow.
She's already so strong.
How long does that cloud walking spell last?
About a day, Twilight replied.
That's plenty of time then.
She felt her friend nod, and Twilight's horn glowed again, surrounding herself in its purple light. Twilight emanated a pleasant warmth as she cast the spell. Dash lost herself in its glow, feeling its heart radiate through her tired body. Dash, I said you can let me go? Dash shook herself from her daze.
Sorry, Twi. I zoned out for a sec.
Such an ADHD thing.
Oh, yeah, she would definitely... Well, actually, would her or Pinky be more ADHD?
Oh, Pinky, definitely. But they both have ADHD traits.
Nice.
Actually, all the ponies might.
She's just more of the hyperactive part, you know?
Yeah.
Nice going, Rainbow Dash. You're gonna creep her out if you keep this up. Stupid brain.
Nice going, Rainbow Dash.
She's genuinely complimenting herself.
She let her friend down as her mind spun in circles.
What is wrong with me?
The gentle poof of disturbed cloud broke her from her thoughts. Dash stared at her friend, testing the resiliency of the cloud with a prod of her hoof. Dash fluttered to the cloud beside Twilight, burying the errant thoughts for now. She didn't know why she loved doing such things, but she wouldn't let them distract her while Twilight was around. She gestured out over the landscape.
See, Twi? Best view in Ponyville.
Twilight peeked her head over the edge and quickly stepped back. It certainly is. Hi. Dash chuckled.
Haha, yeah, my place is pretty awesome.
Twilight stepped away from the edge, and Rainbow Dash turned her attention to the sky. As the moon began to shift from its position, it gave way to the stars behind it. A flurry of streaks fell through the sky, glistening brightly as they burned and soared towards the horizon. Canvases of color painted themselves on the inky black, tinting the rich purple with blues, reds, and even yellows.
Ooh, red and yellow.
Sunset shimmer. She heard a giggle from behind her, and turned to see Twilight settling in with her things, removing her books and quills from her bag. They, too, flashed purple briefly before being laid carefully on the cloud in front of the unicorn. They rested placidly on the clouds, pages blank and waiting to be filled. Twilight was watching her as she lay down on the soft cloud beneath her, still smiling. If I didn't know any better, I would say you've never seen a meteor shower before. Dash grinned sheepishly and brought a hoof to the back of her head, rubbing it gently.
Yeah, well, I've never seen them be so cool before.
Well, you were right about this place being perfect. Thanks for bringing me. Twilight smiled, and Dash could almost feel its warmth. A simple statement, a simple gesture, was nearly enough to bring the Pegasus to her knees.
Sure,
she sputtered.
No problem at all.
Ugh, gosh, it's no problem. Yeah, okay, of course I did it, idiot.
Ooh, Tsundere Rainbow Dash. Tsundere Rainbow Dash?
Tsundere Rainbow Dash.
Has to be a fic called that.
And gonna look that one up. How do you spell Tsundere?
Tsundere.
Nope, no stories matching.
What? I guess we have to be the first.
Tsundere Rainbow Dash. Oh my god.
Got a lot more.
Let's just say, yeah, I got something alright.
Oh no, you have the mature filters off, Ross.
Okay. It's by Anonymous Pegasus. Look at that.
Yo? I remember that name.
Yeah, it's, whoa, this guy does a lot of clop.
You did a fic of theirs recently, right?
Oh yeah, Why Pinkie Pie Smiles. Literally the one I'm editing right now.
Oh my god.
Go listen to that episode, guys. It's a good one. It's a good one. I won't say anything about it, but let's just say It's tagged sad. So anyways, back to Owl City. Twilight motioned to a vacant spot beside her. Come sit down. The show's about to start. Dash went still. She stared at the spot which Twilight had indicated, watching her lavender hoof along the top of the fluffy mass, but any attempts to move towards it failed. She stood, staring vacantly, her rapid breathing the only indication that she was still awake. Hey, Dash. You alright? You okay, man? Dude?
It's a rapid breathing.
She shook her head briskly to clear... I think they know that, and so do I. She shook her head briskly to clear the rampant thoughts from her mind and flashed a smile at her friend.
Yeah, I'm cool. Must just be tired.
That's it. Wink. She regained control of her legs and slowly walked over to where Twilight was sitting and sat beside her on the cloud. A brisk wind rustled across the roof, bringing a strong chill with it over top the mares. She heard soft clattering beside her and saw that her friend was quivering.
Are you okay, Twi? You look a little cold.
Twilight forced a smile between her chattering teeth. I forgot my blanket at home.
That was nice.
Thank you.
The teeth chattering was on point.
I have a lot of practice being cold.
You get cold a lot in Texas?
No. I get cold a lot in the freezer that my parents shove me in when I'm misbehaving.
Jesus Christ.
That's just a joke. Dash had blankets of her own inside, but leaving to fetch one now would cause her to miss precious seconds of time watching the stars above, and more importantly, time with Twilight. And that was something that her mind refused to allow. You are literally faster than light. At the very least, sound.
Yeah. Could be less than a second.
Before she knew it, a folded wing spread open and draped itself over the shivering unicorn.
Heh, us Pegasi don't have much of a problem with cold. Nice warm feathers, for one thing.
Just sucks when you gotta fly south for the winter.
Imagine if Pegasi actually migrated.
Yeah, you'd have like half the show without Rainbow Dash and
God.
Fluttershy.
Maybe they do.
No, they couldn't.
Aw.
Too many Christmas stories set in Ponyville with Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy there.
Yeah.
She gasped softly and felt a shock of cold as she pulled her friend's body against her own. Glancing over, Dash saw a look of surprise flicker across the unicorn's face, only for it to slowly fade into a warm and grateful smile. When it did, Dash let out a breath she hadn't known she had been holding. Thank you, Dash. That was really nice of you. Would love a blanket.
Your wing is kind of stinky, not gonna lie. You've been flying all day, all night.
Oh man, they probably do sweat.
Yeah.
Dash would be so stinky.
Oh no, yeah, horses do sweat, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think we even looked it up.
Oh yeah, we probably did.
No problem.
She stammered, blushing.
What kind of loyalty would I be if I let my friend freeze on my roof?
Oh, they're on her roof. I thought they were like on her porch.
Nah, they're on her roof.
Does she have a yard or a porch or anything?
She has a roof. She has kind of a little like area outside. It's like good, I would say 5 feet. She managed a cocky grin, flashing her teeth wide to mask her growing unease. You really are a good pony, Rainbow Dash. I'm glad to have you as a friend.
Friend.
Dash's stomach twisted.
I'm Twilight's friend. What else would I be?
Yep, just friend.
Kind of sounds like Twilight's really just, she's getting the hint and she's trying to, like, push her off, you know?
Twilight would never get a hint. Not in a million years.
She would never be able to tell when she's being hit on.
She glanced at Twilight again, who had returned her eyes to the sky, oblivious of the pain she had suddenly, unknowingly inflicted. See? Unknowingly.
Yeah.
Twilight muttered noises of wonder under her breath, her eyes growing even wider than before. Dash followed her gaze and saw that the sky was host to a glowing aurora. The aura of colors painted themselves across the sky as far as the eye could see, rippling in and out of existence over the mountains far to the north. Beyond that, in the inky dark, each glimmering dot seemed to have a life of its own. They shone almost as bright as Celestia's sun, each casting their light onto all of God damn it, this fucking name again. Equus? Equus?
Is that the name of their world?
That's what people have agreed is the name of their world, yes.
Oh.
I've pronounced it like 5 different ways over the course of this one podcast. It should be Equus, because equine.
Yeah, that's what I'd imagine. Did they use this name in the show?
Nope.
Ah, no wonder it's so hard to pronounce.
They shone almost as bright as Celestia's sun, each casting their light onto all of Equus itself. As one winked into sight, 2 more quickly joined, over and over as tens became hundreds, and then thousands. Sparkling lights joined the chorus of colors, falling through the sky far, far more frequently than before, cutting streaks of bright yellow in the sky as the celestial bodies tumbled down to the earth. To her, it was almost like watching a fireworks display, but to use such a comparison now would be nothing but an insult. Whatever had crafted this event was far more than a simple multicolored explosion. No, whatever this was nothing less than art.
How did I miss seeing this before?
She asked. Have you forgotten what day it is? Dash stared quizzically at her friend, pondering. There were no birthdays or celebrations today. The one thing that she could recall, although she doubted its relevance, was the summer sun celebration the morning before. But that...
Wait a minute.
Her voice was wrapped with realization.
If yesterday was the summer sun celebration, that means...
She looked at Twilight, who was nodding approvingly. Yes. Today is the day we freed Princess Luna from Nightmare Moon. Today is the anniversary of her return.
Woo!
Great, the worst princess came into the show on this day a year before.
Whoa. That's not Cadence, that's Luna.
You know what I think of Luna, Wizzy.
I know.
I haven't dissed Luna enough since our comeback, so...
Yeah. Do you actually not like Luna? I gotta know.
I think Luna's fine.
Okay.
Overrated, but fine.
Do people actually, rate her that highly in the fandom?
People fucking love Luna.
I thought since she was, Nightmare Moon that people would have hated her more.
Nah, people love that shit. You know, you get a villain, turn her into a good guy, paint her blue.
So you're, balancing it out then.
Yeah.
Keeping her in check, so she doesn't go Nightmare Moon again.
Exactly. Remember that one Christmas fanfiction we read where Celestia's like, I bet you have tons of fans somewhere out there watching all over you all the time? The 2 mares turned back to the sky. To think that Princess Luna would stage such an elaborate spectacle was amazing, and for Dash to have one of the best seats to see it was, well, doubly amazing. It's also, Twilight added, a hint of solemnity overtaking her voice, the anniversary of when I met you all, and the day we all became friends. Dash felt a sinking feeling in her gut. She turned away. That's why.
F word.
Fuck. Dash felt a sinking feeling in her gut. She turned away from Twilight, unable to face her at this revelation. The rest of them had spent the time together in between the planning of yesterday's festivities, but had any pony really taken the time to realize that it had been such a special occasion?
I certainly didn't.
For Twilight, it was so much more. The day she bonded with all of her friends. Her first friends.
Does that mean that she doesn't consider Spike a friend?
He's her brother.
But not her best brother friend forever.
Big brother, best friend forever.
Yeah.
So no, because Twilight is older than him.
Little brother, best friend forever?
Yeah,
okay.
That'd be it.
I should have remembered such an important date, especially one so close to Twilight. What kind of loyalty am I?
That's why people say that you're the element of honesty and that it was all a mistake. She's not, though. Those people are dumb.
Right, after everything she's gone through tonight, of course she's the element of loyalty.
She felt a hoof on her shoulder and looked over to see Twilight smiling at her. All the negative thoughts washed away as she peered into those violet eyes.
Violet eyes, that's intentional 100%.
Being here with Twilight made everything seem okay, and for her, that was enough.
I guess this night is extra special for every pony then,
Dash said. It is. Twilight nodded. I'm glad we spent some time together during the Summer Sun celebration yesterday, because every pony was so tired today. I wasn't sure that we would be able to celebrate anything tonight.
I wonder what the others would think of this.
I don't think they would appreciate being woken up so late. Twilight started to giggle when a sudden yawn overtook her. Twilight brought a hoof to her mouth in an effort to stifle the spasm, but the damage had already been done. Thanks, asshole.
The frickin' Vic made you yawn?
She yawned and then I yawned.
It didn't even show her yawning.
Her cheeks tinged red at such a silly gesture, and Dash found it hard not to laugh at the goofy expression that forced itself onto her face.
I just realized she did not tell anyone about this special thing that was happening tonight. Like, she wanted them to be able to get to sleep, but she didn't even give them the option. I would hate if someone did that to me.
I would do that to you, Wizzy.
That's so mean, though.
I would just forget to tell you.
Oh, that's fair. But that's not what she did. She intentionally didn't tell them so that they would get sleep and be healthy or something.
A blazing streak of white raced across the sky from high above Canterlot, falling over Ponyville before vanishing in darkness.
Wow!
Dash exclaimed.
What was that?
Judging by the brightness, I'd say something made of phosphorus. Dash scratched her head.
Phosphor what?
Twilight laughed. Phosphorus. It burns really bright when ignited. Luna knows her chemistry.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I wonder how fast it was going.
And Luna's smart. God damn it, she's the perfect package. Twilight opened her mouth as if to say something, but paused. She smiled, nudging Dash. Are you showing interest in astronomy, Dash? I have a few books on it if you want. Dash shook her head.
Nah, books are cool and all, but this is way more fun. Living it, you know?
I can teach you more if you'd like. Dash returned the smile.
That'd be awesome.
Twilight's explanations carried into the night. She wasted no effort in pointing out every light, spark, and color that showed itself in the sky. Dash listened intently to every word, basking in Twilight's presence as Luna's celebration reached a brilliant crescendo. Eventually, the rays of the dawning sun began to peek over the horizon. The pantheon of celestial bodies began to fade as it fled with the receding darkness. The aurora was the last to go. The multicolored sheen sparkled against the dwindling night sky, each brilliant shade glowing vibrantly before being consumed by the morning light. The Pegasus squeezed her wings excitedly as the spectacle came to a close.
That was awesome!
She felt a weight pressing against her side, and her ears perked at a soft whistling sound beside her. She looked down and saw that Twilight was asleep, her nose buzzing a cadence of quiet snores.
Cadence!
Her head had tilted over into Dash's neck, and was snuggled against her as the unicorn slept soundly. Oh! Cute! A fury of warmth rushed into her face as she realized what was happening. She was glad that Twilight was asleep, at least so she didn't see her in this embarrassing state. All of her thoughts that evening had been torn apart every time Twilight had crossed her mind, and it had driven her mad. Crazy brain.
Friend.
Twilight had said that earlier. That word had become such a powerful aspect of her life in the past couple years. She had bonded with ponies she would have never spent time with before, and made old friendships even stronger. She had shared so many adventures with her new friends. So why did that word hurt so much now? She couldn't understand it. Why did the fate of only being Twilight's friend seem so painful? Why did she feel unsatisfied with that? Why was being with Twilight causing her so much confusion over a simple night of stargazing? Then there was her wing. She should have felt uncomfortable with a pony coming so close to her. Instead, it felt good. Twilight was pressing into her in a peaceful sleep, and she didn't want it to end. one thing dominated Rainbow's mind. That was Twilight. No, never mind. Couldn't think of it. Couldn't think of it in time.
I think I got what you were going for.
Yeah, you got it. One thing dominated Rainbow's mind. The one thing she never would have expected, but now could not ignore.
Am I falling for Twilight?
Who wouldn't?
Well, someone who might have the hots for a certain apple pony, maybe.
Are you saying you wouldn't fall for Twilight?
I'm just saying that
Twilight's Are you saying that you're into Applejack?
Okay, if Brayburn is the gender swap of Applejack, come on. Applejack's one fine pony then.
And he isn't. Just your cousin. But he does look more like Applejack than Big Mac does.
Ooh.
Food for thought. Her heart raced as the realization rushed through her head.
I can't have a crush on Twilight.
Her mind screamed.
We're friends, and she's an egghead. How can Rainbow Dash, future Wonderbolt, be seen with an egghead? They don't let sappy ponies into the Wonderbolts.
They do.
Okay. I was going to say, do they not let, like, people with partners into the Wonderbolts?
They don't let pansies into the Wonderbolts.
They're going to be like, oh, you're gay, Rainbow Dash. We don't accept people of your kind in the Wonderbolts. Even though I'm pretty sure the frickin' coach is also gay, so...
That is up for debate.
I'm just saying, because she's friggin' tomboy.
Wow. Way to stereotype, idiot.
Well, it's better than monotyping. I don't know what that actually means.
Let's look it up. Ah, it's a video game. Look at that. It's on Steam.
Oh.
Rating 10 out of 10. Wow. Very positive. Free to play.
Let's play it. Let's quit this
whole
whole
thing. It's also only
thing.
got 13 reviews. Oh, wait. Recent reviews. 13 recent reviews. All reviews are 546. Okay, then. Never mind.
You know, we should just end this right now and change this video into a playthrough of Monotype. Monotype.
The unfortunate thing is that it's not a video. So the point is, yeah, they don't let sappy ponies into the Wonderbolts. She felt Twilight shift under her wing. Dash sighed happily as she repositioned the feathered limb over the unicorn.
So why can't I stop looking at her? What if she doesn't feel the same way?
Her heart skipped at that. She could not be certain if Twilight would feel that way about mares, or any pony really. The librarian was not as outgoing as most ponies. Anytime.
Didn't we settle on that she was friggin' bibliosexual?
Yes. When did we settle on that, though?
I feel like that was in one of the fics that we had where we're like, ew, is she gay? Is she straight? No, she's into books.
The librarian was not as outgoing as most ponies. Anytime she was not with her friends, she was in her home. Nose buried in an endless mountain of books. It wasn't exactly healthy, but it was who she was. How could Dash even approach a relationship with a friend? Dude, let me tell ya, felt the same way. You just don't do it. It's a bad idea. I would know. I've been rejected by Wizzy enough to... How would the rest of her friends react?
Getting involved with a friend has its difficulties, and if something goes wrong...
She shuddered at the possibility.
What if the awkwardness makes Twilight isolate herself again? No.
Oof.
Again? Was she isolated before?
Oh, Twilight hated everybody. She hated social interactions.
Oh.
She hated the idea of friendship. She hated Spike. Twilight was not in a good place at the start of the series.
I thought that was just because she, that was like a matter of circumstance and she couldn't find anyone to be friends with.
Nah, Celestia had to send her to Ponyville to try and get her to make friends with ponies.
Wow, so Celestia really had to be her mom.
And, you know, Celestia couldn't tell her that she was doing that. No, she thought.
Well, the no
just in
was
case
me.
you forgot, y'all forgot the last word.
Twilight wouldn't do that, no matter how she felt.
Plus, Dash had her newly minted love of books, so they had a common ground, and after tonight, the sky was also something they could share.
But would it be enough?
She wasn't certain what to make of this. Her friend was now cuddled up beside her, snoring peacefully. She fought back the urge to panic, if only to prevent waking the unicorn. With every one of her friend's soft breaths, Dash felt her own tension ease away. Whatever conflicts had arisen within her mind were instantly deflated by the presence of her sleeping friend. There was something more here, something worth telling some pony about, if only to get the worries of her mind and heart out and onto paper. She saw Twilight's books sitting just inches in front of her. Dash carefully reached out a hoof and pulled one of the journals towards her. Opening it to a blank page, she slowly turned her head to snatch the quill that Twilight had tucked behind her ear. She didn't have anything firmly in mind, certainly not a fully formed lesson, but something like this, something as powerful as this, could only be written from the heart. She dipped the quill into ink and penned her thoughts to the one pony she thought might understand.
Dear Princess Celestia.
Woo!
Celestia,
yeah! That's my girl! Woo!
Finally, they come to the one pony.
Fandom, by the way, hates Celestia.
Is that true?
Oh,
I can kind of see, because, fandoms don't like perfect characters,
Yeah. And then when Celestia shows flaws, they're like, see, Celestia sucks.
Yeah.
She can't act, she sucks, she blows.
Yeah, was that like her one flaw?
Oh, no, she has other flaws. Banishing her sister was one.
Okay, that was because her sister was, destroying the world, right?
I agree, but the fandom's like, no, that's a character flaw. How dare she?
She could have used the element of friendship to make her calm down.
I think that's what she tried to do with him, but then she sent her to the moon.
What a sentence.
I used to think that I needed a specific type of pony to share my time with. One who loves the sky the same way I do. What I found instead was some pony who made me appreciate it in a whole new way. For the first time in my life, I don't feel completely alone in this love of the sky. While I'm not certain exactly what I found, or what it might lead to.
Movement pressed against her neck as Twilight began to rouse from her timid slumber. Dash smiled fondly, letting the quill drop from her mouth, and leaned into the waking unicorn.
Hey, Twi,
she said quietly. Yeah. Twilight replied sleepily. Yeah.
Do you want to go watch the Cloudsdale cloud carving contest tomorrow?
What's that? Twilight yawned loudly, pushing harder into Dash's side, as she moved in closer to the source of her warmth.
Well, you know how sometimes you see clouds that look like stuff? It's not completely random. Sometimes
you motherfuckers.
Pegasi like to shape clouds like an art project. And tomorrow there's a competition, and I thought you'd like to go with me.
She listened to Twilight's steady breathing, each breath ruffling the fur across her neck. She waited patiently for an answer, her heart racing faster each second that passed without one. She began to wince in preparation for the impending rejection, when another yawn escaped her friend's mouth. That sounds lovely, Dash. Rainbow Dash, I'd love to.
You're good at imitating yawns.
Yeah, imitating. It's so good. Relief heaved its way from the Pegasus nose, and she drew in her wing tighter around her dozing friend. Twilight's head slumped against her, gentle snoring vibrating from her muzzle. Now that her friend was finally and fully asleep, she retrieved the quill in her mouth and took it back to the letter.
Wherever it goes, I'm glad I finally found it.
That I finally found it. You fucked up the last word, Wizzy.
No!
Sentence, whatever.
It's ruined. We have to restart. Okay. I'll narrate. It was the evening after the summer sun celebration.
I was going to do that earlier when I said we have to restart. I said, I'll restart it. I was going to do it early, but I couldn't close out a reader view and get to that in time.
Oh, no.
Author's note, big thanks to the BS dude and Amacita for helping me edit this. And then there is also a sequel, Dreams and Disaster. That is the next chapter. I don't know if we should read it. What do you think? It'll probably just be... It's probably just like a thing for the next one.
Yeah, it's just like an advertisement.
Like a teaser. Advertisement teaser, yeah. I'm gonna read it anyways.
Okay.
Chapter 2, Dreams and Disasters. And don't think that this is us going to be reading the entire sequel to Dreams and Disasters anytime soon. A, go listen to the Owl City song, and B, go read that story for yourself if you want to hear it.
Yes.
Rainbow Dash has a problem. She might be in love with Twilight Sparkle and has yet to admit it to any pony, least of all Twilight herself. After the events of Vanilla Twilight, the two have grown much closer together, spending more time together and sharing their interests. Unfortunately for Dash, Twilight hasn't caught on to her feelings yet, and she could be content with just letting things progress as they are. If only she hadn't sent that blasted letter admitting it. Now, thanks to a pair of meddling princesses, Rainbow Dash finds herself on a globe-trotting journey with the subject of her affections. On the surface, it might just seem like a simple task for the princess, but for Rainbow Dash, it might be the very thing that forces her to come clean with her feelings, or forever face her doubts. For her, in the world of life and love, sometimes it's best to take it one dream and disaster at a time.
Nice.
And then it's got a link to the story Dreams and Disasters, which, you know, if we're not getting to that anytime soon, might as well read that on my own time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good with the Luna and Celestia meddling with it.
That is so them.
It's just like how you're talking about her sending Twilight to Canterlot, or Ponyville.
What if Celestia received the letter and she totally misheard it, and it was like, oh, is Rainbow Dash talking about me? And it gets so wacky. I do like the sky.
That would actually make a really good spin-off fic.
So that was Vanilla Twilight by Quillery.
Oh, that was a really good romance fic.
I loved it.
It has to be like my favorite F/F fic we've read so far. You know, I could be forgetting, but...
There was that Vinyl Scratch one.
Oh.
I don't know if we could count that.
Yeah, the freaking... Wait.
I got sad.
Octavia and Vinyl Scratch?
Yeah. It's the one that actually doesn't have Vinyl Scratch talking. The reason for this podcast.
The one that would never come. That was Bon Bon and Lyra. That was the one that I really like.
Oh, yeah, that one too. I forgot about that one. Oh, that was cute. But we're not talking about that.
Yeah, this one, I feel like most of the stories we read, they're pretty well written, but they do have like a lot of typos and mispunctuations and whatnot. But this one, I only noticed like twice that they ever did that.
I noticed 3, but that's still only 3 in a 6,000 word fic. Most of the ones that we read, they're like 4,000 words and have tons more. So great job on that.
Thank you, the BS dude and Amacita for editing.
Yep. You should have caught those other ones though. Terrible.
Not even getting a cent for this job.
Yeah, I really think that this is a really cute story and I want to see it continue. And I was hoping that by the end of this, they would have gotten together and then Dreams and Disasters would have been their love life. But no, we just had to go and just have Twilight be Twilight and not understand Rainbow Dash's advances.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash just wants to make Twilight fall in love with her before she admits her feelings.
Yep, and isn't that just the way of things? You fall in love with your friend, you say, hey, I would like to have sex with you now. And then it's just, it's a whole thing. All right.
It's just happily ever after that.
And not as many Owl City references as I would have liked, but that's okay.
The Violet Eyes one really got me by surprise.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, does Twilight even have violet eyes? She does.
Technically.
Ish.
I described them as purple first, but violet makes more sense for this fic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that after I saw the sequel was like 90,000 words, that I don't think they could have done something like that if they made them get together in the first one.
Yeah, that's true. But you don't know. It's actually 99,000. But, oh shit, there's another one after that. Hold Your Color.
Oh my god. Quillery.
Absolute disappointment, Quillery. You fucked it up.
No.
Hold Your Color? Come on, man.
That's not an Owl City song.
That is not a single Owl City song. I would know.
Call it Rainbow Veins. That would be perfect for Rainbow Dash.
That would be perfect. Or like, are there any other Color Owl City songs? There's got to be.
There's definitely lyrics, but I don't know about titles.
We'll think on it.
Technicolor Phase.
Technicolor Phase. That's a good one.
4.9 out of 5.
10 out of 10. Perfect fic. Had me glued to my seat the entire time. We'll see if I keep that rating, or if that rating is actually a thing. I don't know if it's actually, that's probably not my real rating of it.
It's going down in the record books.
You know what? Wasn't that great. 1 out of 0.
Jesus. 1 out of, wait, that's one.
Hold on.
That's better than good.
0 out of 1. There we go.
No.
But yeah, my God, I think this might be the record. 2 hours and 6 minutes, I believe. God. For a recording. This will probably get cut down to like 1 hour 30. Still, that's long for us. Everybody, you can go find us on any of your podcast apps. YouTube, we also would like a subscription there, just for the funsies of it, just to know that we have some. You could also go find me on Twitter at RossPitShark. My YouTube is RossPitSharkHunter. Don't imagine me uploading to either of those things very often, but you know, they exist. Wizzy, where can people find you?
They can find me in the closet. I'm going back there.
It is very comfortable in there.
You know, June's over, gotta go back.
June is not over at the time of this recording.
But when they're listening to it...
Well, yeah, sure. And yep, go read this story for yourself, go like it, whatever, yada yada. Should have done this earlier, by the way. Thanks to everybody, and I bid you a good night.
Bye!
Record.
The record button was pressed, and the recording has started.
Okay, that's good to know. Let me know if there are any updates.
Okay.
Any updates yet?
There's an update. There's been an anomaly in the soundtrack.
Oh dear.
I think there's
you should just
fan fiction.
Keep an eye on it.
Yes, sir. It's like get the idea onto the page, and then you're like, oh, but what if I made all of this world building?
Yep, I've done that so much before. I don't mean to brag, but I'm really good at world building. I don't mean to brag.
Oh, we got to talk about something later then.
Oh, hell yes. All right, I'll just, you know what? I'll text you right now. Talk about world building ? Don't
Perfect.
know what you mean by this. But we gotta talk. All right, that'll probably be the most annoying thing on this podcast, which is great. It can only go up from here.